What's up, guys? Welcome. Another episode of BS for Build here. I don't know what I'm doing. I got no clue. I honestly don't feel like taking anything too seriously today. I think I'm gonna goof off all day. Eric should be here in about an hour. I'll ask him to do some real work so we get something real done. And then we'll just see where we land at the end of the day. I got some things I want to play around with, but I might accomplish zero. Stay tuned. First things first, my t-shirt was made for a different YouTuber, but in true BS for Build spirit, I have a feeling I can modify it to more correctly match my mood. There we go. That more accurately represents the channel, right? Now, I know that I didn't have to black out the zero, but I thought, you know, some people might get confused. It is YouTube after all. All right, continuing my reign of messing around, I have some overflares that I'm going to test fit on here that you guys may recognize from a different build. And while I do that, Eric is gonna work on pulling the steering column out of the M5. This is reminiscent to all the movies where the poor girl shows up to prom and looks better than the hot girls. Maybe? I'm not really sure. The generic over fenders that we bought for the Aston Martin definitely allow us to fit them a lot better. We don't have to worry about the door. They look good. They're all covered in overspray because we put them in the rafters and then we painted. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to do these. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. With these, when we run these, we can set them as high or as low as we want. So we can make the car look, essentially as far as wheel gap, you know, really any size that we want here on the rear versus with the Rocket Bunny that's right here. Not only do we have those fitment issues, it creates a pretty large gap. And if you look at pictures of any of the other Rocket Bunny cars, the Fugu Z and the other ones, they run a pretty damn large gap, which I really don't want to have the look. I just don't like that look, especially not since we're on airbags and we got the car like literally sitting on the ground. To have a huge gap would just be a bummer. And that also means when we air up to a really safe height, we're going to look ridiculous. So I'm digging this. I'm definitely digging this. There's also another company that makes a pretty good looking flare. It's a, you know, a more expensive fiberglass custom made flare that I've been in contact with, and I'm seeing what we could do, and maybe we'll get some of those to test out too. But I have a lot of these, guys. I have like 8 of these. So I really do think we can get 2 of them to look good. In the back, I think it looks pretty cool. We can make it tuck in right down there. And if you remember, then from there, we have some arrow stuff that's gonna kind of, I can't remember where it connects, but it goes down and then it would flow nicely into our rear diffuser. And then down here, it kind of tucks in nicely, and we could trim this section out so that we have one, you know, bolt going right in here and then trim it out so it's all nice and flush. And then remember, our side skirt goes out to here to meet up with it. So when you look at it now, it kind of looks like it disappears into the back in a weird way, but remember, our side skirt comes out and then it comes up here. So it will keep that body line, it will keep that flow. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that those worked out the way they did. I totally had forgot about them and then thought about it, and I was like, oh, those are up in the rafters. I should test them out. And I got to be honest, guys, I'm really happy with the way they look, and there's a decent chance that we might use those instead of the Rocket Bunnies on the rear. The front is still always going to be the front. Front, we're going to run with these over fenders, this front bumper. We're sticking with that stuff. All right, Eric popped the steering column out, which I'll show you in a second, and then he also took the brake pedal assembly out as well. So this brake pedal connects into the brake booster right here, and since this is like got to be a direct straight shot in our car as well, we're thinking while we're in here, let's go ahead and remove the brake booster. So next thing is this whole brake booster's got a couple brake lines we got to detach, some vacuum lines that we might take with us, and then we're going to pull the whole assembly out. All right, so we got steering column right here. The brake booster is out of the car right here. This is a vacuum pump to, what's the word? Support, back up the brake booster in case the engine isn't pulling enough vacuum for any reason. This thing will engage. Like I said, it's a pump and it helps assist the brake booster. And then we got our brake pedal over here. So Eric and I are going to spend a couple minutes looking at these things against the car and our real estate that we have to mount them, stuff like that. And then I think we might have news for you on the dashboard. All right, we did some test placement of the steering column and the brake booster and the brake pedal, and you know, it's a little bit scary, the limited space that we have in there, but there's enough space to make it work. We're confident, but that's definitely not the next step, and neither is the next step that we're gonna do, but it's gonna be more fun. So we're gonna do something fun. Dashboard's right here. Eric and I are both curious what it would look like if it did fit in the car. This is something that I could probably resell. But what the hell, let's cut it up, let's slam it into this car and see what it looks like after we make it fit. Well, we're doing things. It's going places. We're basically notching this piece out right here so we can keep sliding it forward. So you can see the gap that we have here. We're going to try and close in that gap as well as bring it up and bring it, obviously needs to go pretty far forward. So this is just a midway status update. We got some ideas of how to finish this if we can pull it off to make it look clean, so that's good. We just got to get it in the right place. The big thing right now is we have the dashboard computer test fit in here right now, and we don't want to cut so much out of this space right here that the dash computer can't fit. So that's what we're fighting against right now. We're going to keep cutting away and pushing it until we can kind of land it right up here. Dude, you guys, we did it. We had to make some pretty large cuts, and we have an idea of how to clean this up with some like plates and stuff like that. But check it out, like this, the dash is fitting. It fits in the car. It's too wide, we're gonna have to cut these sides off. But as far as like the depth and everything, like where your knees go, where your driving position is and everything like that, like you can see where Eric's sitting right now holding the dash, and he's got plenty of room to slide back. Plenty of room for his feet.
I'm fairly tall, and my foot isn't even hitting that drop down that you can see over there.
Yeah, so that's where our firewall would be. So your foot's not even reaching the firewall. So this is pretty awesome. So Eric and I want to play around, and we're gonna start throwing in some accessories. You see we put the gauge cluster in there, the computer in there. We're gonna play around with more accessories in here and see what it would look like. All right, we've put in all the little miscellaneous pieces. We're officially going for it. We're gonna run the BMW dashboard in here. It's just too cool to not do. So keep in mind, we are gonna have to like block this off, fiberglass this over, trim that up, put a plate here, build a plate for here. It's gonna add a little bit of work, but it's less work than going back and going with the fiberglass. If we used a fiberglass dashboard, we'd have to mold in this gauge cluster and some other stuff. I am bummed about these rips though right here. If anybody has any ideas of what we might be able to do, or maybe what we do is we just order like a piece of like cloth, like a cloth overlay for the whole thing, I don't know. I mean, I've done kind of the carpet like over the top of these things, and it doesn't look bad. Like when you look at it from afar, it actually looks pretty good. I thought about flocking it, but if you flock it, like it still shows the details, so you're still going to see kind of that tear there on both sides. Anybody has any useful ideas? Please leave a comment in the comment section. That's the only place you're really allowed to leave them. This is awesome. This is so awesome. Let me show you from the driver's perspective. Actually, let me show you from the back. That looks so cool. It looks lopsided right now because it's just sitting on its own, but dude, that is so cool. The armrest is high, that's totally fine. Another thing that's interesting is all of this white stuff with that crappy paint over it that we talked about. So we're gonna have to like get that off. So we'll probably give it a chop right here. Not really sure, because again, we're gonna have to cut through here. We need to mount our headlights and we need to build a plate that goes backwards. It's gonna be tough. We're gonna have to do some freshening up of the sides and stuff on this thing. That'll be very tricky to make look good, but I'd rather put the time into that and keep the BMW dash the way it is, because I think it looks super cool, than to switch to fiberglass now. And then we can run our center console too. All right guys, well that was a pretty cool day. Mike goofing off invented the coolest new shirt, and I think we got a BMW dashboard in our BMW, Nissan, Datsun V10 Madness cart. It's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. I think we're gonna integrate a little bit more ruggedness to it, so it's not so like ultra clean looking, because we do have to make some cuts and we're gonna make some other things. But the idea for the inside, for the interior, was supposed to be a little bit more rat roddy, where the exterior was supposed to look nice and clean. It's gonna be, you know, all very, very meticulous, but the interior was supposed to be like a little bit more mistily, a little bit more rat roddy, but obviously integrating all that BMW stuff, it's gonna miss it a little bit, but we will find a way to do it cool. You guys know, we'll figure it out. We're thinking maybe different hammered aluminum accents or brushed aluminum with some rivets and some stuff like that to kind of add some contrast to it. Because it's not gonna look good. So you don't want it to be all like super clean and then miss the mark of doing it super clean. And we're not gonna be able to do super clean because we have to literally hack the ends of that thing off. So it's better to like go off on your own stylized tangent than to look like you were just trying really hard to be really clean and then totally fail on that. But it will look very interesting and very authentic to BS for Build style in the end in the interior. I can promise you that. That's it guys, I hope you enjoyed. This might be a short one, I'm not really sure. Check out DS for Drift. It's our video game, it's our very own video game, and it's doing great, and I'm so thankful for all the support. So thank you guys so much for that. I hope you all had a great weekend, I hope you played the game. Clearly a lot of you did. But yeah, there's a link in the top of the description, dsfordrift.com if you want to pick it up. It's free, check it out, it's a fun game to play. That's it, I'm not gonna take up any more of your time. Please subscribe so I can get to 0.5 million, that would be great. Okay, I'll see you guys soon, tomorrow. Peace!